You're watching Dallas Mavericks Today by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Harrison Graham. Let's take a look at the Mavericks playoff picture, kind of the final third of the regular season before the NBA playoffs get underway. And Dallas will be a playoff team. It's just a matter of where they will stack up, what seed they will get. We'll take a look at the three most likely opponents that they could face in the first round. But first, let's break down these Western Conference standings. Of note, these are as of Friday night. This video is going to go out Saturday afternoon, so the Mavs and Jazz play on Friday, so you'll know who won that game. So these standings could be off by a game or so by the time you watch it, but the order will not change. At least in the top here. Phoenix at 49-10. You got Golden State as the 2 seed right now. Memphis the 3. Utah the 4. Dallas the 5. That's who the Mavs would face in the first round. Pretty good chance that ends up happening again. They play on Friday night. 6 through 10 is as follows. Denver. You got Minnesota, who had a nice win over the Grizzlies to open up the post-All-Star break schedule. The Clippers at 30-31. And then the Lakers and Trailblazers kind of clamoring on to those play-in spots at the 9 and the 10 seed. Okay, so let's go team by team here, who the Mavs could face in the Western Conference playoffs in the first round. The Utah Jazz, the most likely team, as they're the 4 seed in the Western Conference. They, of course, are led by their duo in Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert. And the Jazz, look, they've given the Mavs some issues in the past, right? It's been a matchup problem. The Mavs have had trouble scoring against them at times as they've been traditionally one of the better defensive teams in the NBA. And this is who the Mavs really need to prepare for. And they have these games in the second half against Utah, 3 in total, including 1, like we mentioned, on Friday night. We'll see how they stacked up in that one. But obviously, when you face Utah, the first thing you think of in general is Donovan Mitchell, his ability to really carry an offense. 26 points this year, shooting 45.5% from the field. Kind of a streaky three-point shooter, can certainly get very, very hot. Now, Rudy Gobert has been one of the bigger matchup problems in the NBA all year. But really, when you kind of break down this X's and O's matchup between Dallas and Utah, I think Gobert is going to be the biggest problem because he averages 16 points, 15 rebounds. He's a good rim protector. He can switch a little bit on screens as well. Obviously, his efficiency is great because he's just scoring around the basket. It's going to be a challenge because that was the one thing about trading Kristaps Porzingis, which I still stand by with the due to the injuries, which, by the way, he's still not healthy. But who's going to stack up against him? Who's going to match up on him? Now, obviously, you're going to have to, kind of zig while they zag, right? Maybe you go small and try to win that way. That's given Gobert problems in the past, but you're going to lose the rebounding battle to Utah. You can almost book that. So you're going to have to find different ways to win this series, and maybe you do that with speed and athleticism and go 3-4 guard lineup and put Power Cleve at the 5 and hope he holds his own with Gobert, and you win at other spots. That might be the strategy here. I will say this. No one Utah has can stop Luka Doncic. And while they're a good defensive team, there's nothing they can do to slow him down. And look, the Clippers are best equipped to stop Luka when fully healthy with Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. Obviously, they're banged up right now, and he was their daddy in the last 2 years in the playoffs. So, what is Jordan Clarkson going to come in and defend Luka? It's not going to happen. So, if Luka continues to play well, then he's going to average 35 in that series. But on the other side, Gobert could pose a big problem for Dallas. Would the Mavs beat the Jazz in a best-of-7 series? Type Y for yes, type in for no. I think they'd have a pretty good chance. Gobert, the paint would be the big factor, in my opinion. If the Mavs can hold their own, they should win that series. But that's obviously a big what-if, so we'll see what happens. Get your votes in, Y for yes, N for no, and then we'll break down 2 more opponents Dallas could face. But first, we got some hoodies available at chatsports.com/Mavs hoodie, 25% off. I'm so tired of the winter, so I'm bundled up every freaking day, and you guys can be as well with this hoodie. Pick one up today. Link in the comments, the description of this video, chatsports.com/Mavs hoodie. How about the Memphis Grizzlies? So they're currently the 3 seed, and they have a bit of a gap between them and Utah at 4. But inexperienced team. Maybe Utah gets hot down the stretch here and they push up to the 3 seed, Memphis falls down. Or the other scenario would be Dallas falls down to the 6 seed, of course, and then that would be the 3-6 matchup. Ja Morant's having a special year. They've got a lot of young talent, Dylan Brooks, Desmond Bane. They added Steven Adams, who's been a nice piece for them as well. Now with Memphis, they got to prove it in the playoffs because this is a young nucleus that hasn't really been there, done that. They got some experience last year, but I would welcome a matchup with Memphis. I would take this because Dallas is probably more experienced than they are in the playoffs. Even though they haven't won a playoff series, they've gone toe-to-toe with the Clippers the past 2 seasons, whereas Memphis got their toes wet last year, emerged against Golden State in the play-in game, and then got to play against the, who was it? I think it was Utah last year. They won the first game, but then they lost the next 4. But they did get a little bit of that experience. Obviously, Ja Morant is their star. He's having a great year, 27 points, 7 assists, shooting almost 50% from the floor. He's been really, really good. I like their pieces around him. I like Ty Jones as a backup point guard as well. But can guys like Desmond Bane be what they've been in the regular season? Playoffs is a different deal. You guys know that. Totally different game. So it would largely come down to role players if they face Memphis. I think that, Luka would have a slight edge over Ja. I think the Grizz depth is a little better. Mavs have a little more experience. So I think this would be a good series. I like that Dallas has won 3 out of 4 this year against Memphis. So you've got that head-to-head going on. But by the time the playoffs get here, it would have been, 3 months since they played them. So that certainly factors in as well. Now, there's been this debate out there, and I think it's a dumb one, but we'll entertain it. Who will have a better career? 77 for Luka, 12 for Ja Morant. Come on, it's Luka. And I love Ja Morant. I hate getting in these debates when they're so obvious because it makes it sound like I don't like Ja. Ja's one of my favorite young players. He's tremendous, but Luka's just different. So I'm typing 77, and if you think it's Luka, you can type 77 as well. One more team to break down, a potential opponent, but first, subscribe to us here at Dallas Mavericks Today. We will continue to bring you the latest Mavs news and rumors leading up to the playoffs, and then, it's playoff time. We might do some watch parties. We'll have to wait and see how that all shakes out. YouTube.com/MavsTV. Subscribe and join us here on this channel. Okay, the Golden State Warriors next up here. 2 seed in the West. The scenario against them would be they dip and fall to the 3 seed, and then Dallas falls behind Denver, and they're the 6 seed, so that'd be the 3-6 matchup. Currently a couple of games ahead of Memphis. I don't think they'll fall to 3, but just thought we'd mention it here. Obviously, the big 3, Steph, Clay, and Draymond, they've been there and done that. They've got a good nucleus now of young and veteran talent. Andrew Wiggins was an all-star this year. You've got young guys like Jordan Poole in there. James Wiseman could be coming back. Could the Mavs score enough with Golden State? I think Luka that would be a type of series where he would ball out, but it would be like he probably wouldn't have enough help. I mean, that's probably what would happen. But I will say this, the Mavs have held their own against the Warriors. They actually match up fairly well. I wonder if that translates to the playoffs, though. Because, again, it's a whole different deal. The Warriors, sure, it's been a couple of years with injuries, but they've been there. They've done that. They have championship pedigree. This Mavs team's still looking to win a playoff series in this era of Mavericks basketball. So while they match up on the court fairly well, would I pick them to win a series against Golden State? Probably not. Whereas if it was Utah or Memphis, that's like a 50-50 shot, in my opinion, just due to Memphis's inexperience. And I think with Utah, the Mavs would have the best player in that series as well. So I think they'd have a pretty good shot. Klay Thompson getting back, obviously, is another problem Dallas would have to deal with, especially if he gets closer to peak Klay level. And, by the way, Draymond and Wiseman haven't even been playing as of late. So if they get those guys back, that's a big deal as well. I will say this, Steph Curry not having nearly the best year of his career. He's still having a good one, 26-7, but shooting splits aren't great. But to me, you throw that crap out of the window when it's a guy like Steph. And in the playoffs, I mean, he can go for 50 on any given night. So that would certainly be a tough matchup. Now, this year, the Mavs have won 2 out of 3, beat them on January 5th. Split them, sorry, they have one more to go here on February 27th, so that'll be a good test. Got blown out in the game that Tim Hardaway Jr. got hurt, but, over the last few years, the Mavs have held their own against Golden State, but again, I do wonder if that translates in the postseason. All right, those are the 3 most likely opponents. There's crazy scenarios where maybe Denver is a first-round opponent, but probably not. It's going to be one of these 3. Who do you want to face? Type UTA for the Utah Jazz, type MEM for the Memphis Grizzlies, or type GSW for the Golden State Warriors. I'd probably want to face Utah or Memphis. I could go either way there. Definitely not Golden State. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. All right. Appreciate you guys for tuning in to today's show. Subscribe. Hopefully the Mavs won last night by the time you are watching this. Another big game against the Warriors on Sunday, so stay tuned for that. We might have some coverage for that on Monday. YouTube.com/MavsTV. Subscribe, join the movement, and we will see you soon here on Mavericks Today.